Our next speaker is Sri Rahul Deshpande ji. He has implemented environment awareness and education programs and educated thousands of students about environment. He has assisted in conducting nature camps and advised wildlife departments through workshops. He is a specialist for devising solid waste management system and has set up a microbial laboratory. He is also the board member for ISKCON. With these words, sir, I invite you.
We are seriously talking about villages. India is to be found in its villages. Mahatma Gandhi warned us, if villages perish, India will perish too. India will be no more India. The purpose of Venu Madhuri is to strive with all sincerity for the reconstruction of villages.
We should not forget that no development is sustainable unless it has deep spiritual foundations involving the people themselves. The whole process has to be the people based, people transformation based, and that's a spiritual process. So it is in this context I was introduced to, when I was traveling to Kolhapur, to a trust, to a movement, I would say, called Venu Madhuri. And the person who introduced me was Rahul Deshpande.
It has created magic. People's lives have changed. Crime rate has gone down. The tensions and intolerances have reduced substantially. So people are happier. Come to Kolhapur, come and see Ramanwadi, meet the people there, see the transformation that has taken place, and do give a helping hand. Really, it would be an effort well worth it.
How a model village has to be developed. I think this is a wonderful example. And let us replicate it for entire India.
Thank you very much. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatarinam. First of all, I am very much thankful and grateful to the organizers, the Indus University, Yojaka, and the other organizers too, for giving me an opportunity to be part of this August Assembly, to learn and share in whatever small way we can. Today I am here to talk on the topic of rural reconstruction the Indic way. The video which you saw is a small clipping, the trailer of the work which we are trying to conduct in a village named as Ramanwadi. So this Venu Madhuri Trust is working for last 23 years. And the purpose is integrated, sustainable rural reconstruction that is based on traditional time-tested wisdom. That means the Indic way. So whenever we talk about rural development, we are very clear that the objectives should be in such a way that the local self-sufficiency of village is to be achieved. Mahatma Gandhi has said, the soul of India lives in its villages. Also, he has warned us, if villages perish, India will perish too. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, he has also mentioned that if we have to build the nation, we must start with villages. Now, India, with 6.5 lakh villages, and at a point of time, they were self-sufficient unit. We lost that. There were several attacks on the economy of the village, on the culture of the village, and then several other aspects. So when we talk about the reconstruction of villages, here the emphasis is on the three things which Bhagavad Gita has said, Krishi, Go-Raksha, and Vanijya. When we say Krishi, it is organic farming. When we say Go-Raksha, it's very clear, which Gopal Bhai and his team is amazingly doing it. So that has to reach village and every house. And the third aspect is Vanijya, that is trade. A principle of economics very nicely and simply says, people follow money. So wherever money is traveling, people follow them. Villages are at present dying a silent death because money from villages are going towards city, and so people are also following the money towards city. It's that simple. So we need to revise this economics. We need to reset it so that our villages become prosperous. And when we talk about the prosperity of villages, it is not the financial prosperity. That's one part of it. But the prosperity of local self-sufficiency. If I'm right, the Britishers who invaded India, out of that, the first governor, he came for survey before they started to India. And he did survey for 6 years. He traveled from north to south, east to west, throughout all the villages. He sent a report to the British Parliament. To control India is very difficult. Why? Because India is made with small, small villages, and each village is self-sufficient in its aspect. They don't need anything from outside. They are self-reliant. And when the villages don't need anything from outside, they are Swayam Purna, then how we can control them? But he said to break India, to break down the villages, he proposed two things to the British Parliament, which they did, and they were successful. He said we need to damage first the agricultural system of India, and the base of agricultural system of India are the cows. So they started with slaughtering of cows. They went successful. Indian agricultural system was divided from the self-sufficiency aspect of cow. And the second thing, the Indian education system. So that's why when several questions come, we are trying to compare or see India through the Western perspective. Our work, Venu Madhuri's work of rural reconstruction, this started with the blessings of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder of ISKCON. He had this deep desire that we should reach every village and start with this village self-sufficiency program. Prabhupada ji passed away in 1977, but at the very fag end of his life, when he was 75, he said to his disciples, arrange a car for me. I wish to go from village to village and start the village organization program. So based on his vision, Venu Madhuri is working. 23 years back, when we started working, we selected a small village, which you saw is named Ramanwadi. Now, the background of Ramanwadi village is, Ramanwadi village a small village, a small hamlet, lies on the western ghats of Sahyadri ranges. The annual rainfall at Ramanwadi is 5,000 millimeters. And at that point, Ramanwadi, because it comes under wildlife sanctuary, so out of fear, villagers gave an application to the government that please relocate us, हमारा पुनर्वसन कर दो, क्योंकि ये गांव में हमारा कभी विकास नहीं होगा, कुछ आएगा नहीं और जंगली जानवरों से भी हम डरते हैं. So in that situation, we started our work at Ramanwadi. This was 21 years back. Today, the situation is Ramanwadi villagers are thoroughly happy with what they have in the village. They don't wish to move out. And that has set an example for other villages to follow. Ki in forest, moving out or relocation to other places by government is not at all a solution. If we really want to conserve forest, it has to be in situ conservation, जिसमें हमको गांव वालों को शामिल करना पड़ेगा. See, unless and until the feeling of belonging, the feeling of participation is there, कोई गांव खड़ा नहीं रहने वाला. So why Ramanwadi today? Ramanwadi people don't wish to move out, क्योंकि उनका गांव बहुत सारे चीजों में स्वयंपूर्ण बन गया है. And when we talk about self-sufficiency, हम 6 चीजों की बात करते हैं. एक है watershed management, दूसरा organic farming, तीसरा cottage industry, चौथा culture संस्कृति, पांचवा education. So all these 6 things we have implemented to best of our understanding at Ramanwadi, जिससे लोग खुश हैं और आज वो वही रह के कहीं जाना नहीं चाहते. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम रामनवाड़ी जब पहुंचे तब देखा कि उनकी जो छोटी छोटी गायें थी विच आर डोंगरी या नॉन डिस्क्रिप्ट, सब लोगों ने जंगल में छोड़ दिया था क्योंकि उनको लग रहा था इससे कुछ मुनाफा नहीं है. गोबर गैस लगवाए हर घर में तो गाय वापस जंगल से आ गई, तो गाय गोबर गैस मिला, साथ ही में न्यूट्रिएंट मिल्क का सप्लाई मिला. फिर रामनवाड़ी बहुत बारिश तो होता था लेकिन वहां पे सिर्फ 2.5 एकड़ जमीन ही सिंचाई होती थी, तो पानी का काम किया लोगों के साथ. आज रामनवाड़ी में 60 एकड़ जमीन टोटल इरिगेशन में है. इससे लोग जो गांव छोड़ के गए थे वो वापस आ गए, वापस आके गांव में रह रहे हैं अपने फैमिली के साथ, एंड दे आर हैप्पी डूइंग एग्रीकल्चर. सो द पॉइंट हियर इज एनी वर्क and every work, there has to be a social capital. There has to be people's participation. और ये जब तक नहीं होगा तब तक गांव वापस खड़े नहीं होंगे. हमने ये महसूस किया हम जब शुरुआत में गांव में गए कि लोग काम करने के लिए ही तैयार नहीं है. जब हम सब लोगों को इकट्ठा लाते थे तब लोग ये कहते थे कि this village development or village reconstruction is government's work. Why should we do for them? तो ये माइंडसेट चेंज करने के लिए ही काफी साल लगे हमें, और जब ये माइंडसेट चेंज हो गया तभी each and every project which is taken by the villagers are successful, is successful project. So the point is, today in the terms of economy, it is called social capital. तो ये सोशल कैपिटल, लोगों को अपनापन लगना ये बहुत जरूरी है. दुनिया के पूरे अगर हम if you study the history of the world, 150 years back there was no resource, I mean to say the water as a resource, water was never supplied by the state government or the regional government. Water as a resource was community's responsibility to work to conserve for it. लेकिन आज is the government responsibility. People have felt like that. So whenever we talk about resource management, it can be river, it can be water, it can be forest. The sense of belonging has to be there. And through our experience, we say it, there are 3 C's. The first C stands for the connect. आज हमारे नदियों की, पवित्र नदियों की हालत इतनी खराब है क्योंकि वी हैव लॉस्ट द कनेक्ट. So if we have to re-establish it, we should connect with them. And how the connect is, जैसे बहुत सुंदर तरीके से कहा जाता है कि अगर अगर आपको दूध मिल रहा है तो गाय क्यों संभाले, तो वैसे ही अगर हमें पानी नल से मिल रहा है तो नदी का कौन ख्याल करे, कुएं कौन संभाले. So we need to reconnect ourselves to the resources which we have lost. That's first C. The second C stands for community ownership. ये हजारों सालों से हमारे सनातन धर्म में पानी, खेती और जंगल ये कम्युनिटी ओनरशिप में था. और ये कम्युनिटी ओनरशिप ब्रिटिश लोगों ने हमसे लॉ बना के छीन लिया, जैसे फॉरेस्ट एक्ट, देन द पीडब्ल्यूडी, पीपल वेलफेयर डिपार्टमेंट. फिर सबको ये लगने लगा कि ये तो गवर्नमेंट की जिम्मेदारी है, हम क्यों करें. But this was not the fact. So for any and every resource to make it sustainable, the second C is community ownership. And the third C stands for cultural education. पानी, जंगल, खेती, ये मुनाफा कमाने की नहीं चीज है, उसको एक्सप्लॉइट नहीं करना है. हमारा कल्चर ने हमको जो दिया है उस ढंग से हमें, we have to take as much we are needed. So it has to be a need based development and not at all a greed based development. और वो सारा चीज हमको देंगे जो प्रकृति, भगवान और निसर्ग दूसरे पशुओं को भी देते हैं. Like for example, ईशोपनिषद says this, ईशावास्य इदम सर्वम, कि प्रकृति में चींटी को भगवान कण से देते हैं और हाथी को भगवान टन में देते हैं. और कभी हमने सुना है कि चींटी बिजनेस कर रही है या जॉब कर रही है या हाथी को बिजनेस करना पड़ता है. तो ये मनुष्य एक ही प्राणी है जो अपना गुजारा करने के लिए इतना इतना कोशिश कर रहा है. बट अदर एनिमल्स एंड अदर ट्रीज एंड अदर इंसेक्ट्स, we need to learn from them that whatever is necessary is been provided by the Lord. अगर वो उनको दे रहा है तो हमको क्यों नहीं. So in this process of development, we are trying to emphasize that the development has to be need based, not greed based. And for this, we have introduced a satsang. We have introduced satsang and we found there are amazing results. Through this process of satsang, we are talking about the culture, we are talking about the values, we tell them about Gita, Bhagavata, and through this Ramayana, through this we are trying to revive the culture. And when the culture gets revived, that's third C, then any and every project will become sustainable because there will be community's ownership and no one will blame government for it. So we need to do this paradigm shift of ownership. So at last, few recommendations which I have said that these three C's are necessary in rural development. Sense of belonging, the social capital has to be there in each and every project. When we talk about villages and the policy making, the focus for villages should be towards localization, not globalization. Satsang as a very, very important tool to rejuvenate or re-establish the culture, the Indic culture in every village, because these villages are treasure house of our culture. Local self-sufficiency of village is the only answers. और गांवों को पुनर्प्रस्थापित करना ये उत्तर नहीं है. बहुत सारे गांव which are been rehabilitated, they are suffering like anything. So किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट में गांवों को हिलाना नहीं है, उनको लोकली सेल्फ सफिशिएंट करेंगे तो वो गांव खुश हो जाएंगे और रिसोर्स भी बच जाएगा. So these are few things. And at last, inspired by these villages, I stay at Kolhapur. I have constructed my own house based on the village ideas, mud, cow dung. And I don't know, the video went viral throughout the world. People are appreciating and they admire, but it's not a big thing. I'm just trying to follow what our ancestors, what our villagers are doing. और फिर ये करके लोग इतना सम्मान दे रहे हैं तो फिर गांव वालों को क्यों नहीं देते. Laurie Baker said it. In India, mud has been linked with poverty. We need to now reset the thing. Mud is never a poverty. वो हमारी माँ है, गो माता और भू माता. तो वी नीड टू रीशिफ्ट दिस एंड री एजुकेट कि ये पॉवर्टी नहीं है, दिस इज प्रॉस्पेरिटी. थैंक यू वेरी मच. नमस्कार. जय हिंद. वंदे गो मातरम.